Gamers of Reddit, what game came out of nowhere and left its mark on you unlike most any other, and why? Tales of Symphonia. Picked it up on a whim in a Best Buy one day with no idea what I was getting myself into. 70 hours of gameplay later, I had fallen in love with the characters, the world, the art style, the gameplay, everything. Good times. Braid, a small indie puzzle platformer I've never heard of. I can't remember why I even gave it a try. The graphics, the music and the twist at the end just led me to sit there for a minute contemplating what just happened. Golden Sun, my first game and the best RPG I've played. Music and story is awesome with great gameplay. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 on PS1. That soundtrack pretty much shaped my teens. Remember the night my mate brought it round saying you need to check this out. Next morning I was in the local indie game store selling my soul to get hold of a copy. Thief, the original, not the reboot. The idea of a protagonist who was physically underwhelming and won by avoiding fights was brand new at the time, and it revolutionized the industry by creating a new genre, the first-person sneaker. Garrett was also an exceptionally intriguing protagonist, and his cynicism and shuttered personality really made him the most interesting introvert hero in gaming. Deus Ex. I never met a game that offered so many paths and customizations. This and the conversation paths and ability to dictate how the story played out were a revelation for me. Heroes of Might and Magic 3 was the first PC game I ever played properly, and I still enjoy playing it today. The strategy, the races, and army building. Loved playing Hot Seat with my friends. 4 friends crowded around a tiny monitor waiting their turn, talking strategies, drinking beers. Good times. Civilization 3. It came to me through Scholastic magazine back in grade 7. I never ordered it. My parents didn't pay for it, but it had my name on it. Put the CD in and I haven't looked back since. I don't have much time for gaming anymore, but that dang game always gets me hooked. Bought 4 and 5, but they don't have the same feel as 3. Will over 1,000 hours in there. Red Dead Redemption. Never heard of the game and I just happened to visit my local supermarket day after its release and bought it. The game was in a way so unique but still familiar. I don't know how to explain it. It had the usual GTA feeling to it, but it was still very different compared to Rockstar's other games as it was from the Wild West with horses and incredible story and side missions. XCOM, the original back in the 90s. It was a game that changed gaming for me. The sense of dread, fear, and losing soldiers left and right no matter how smart you were. These were things I'd never known in a game before. XCOM really was a great mix of tactical and strategic, and as a young marine, actually taught me a lot about the relationship between strategy and tactics. Sometimes, a stupid mistaken strategy would trickle down to create an unwinnable tactical situation. A bad tactical decision could eliminate my best squad, and then create a strategic choke point. I would name every soldier after someone I knew, and losing them was like a punch to the gut. When someone made it to colonel, they were truly godlike, and when I had a good squad or 2 of high-ranking soldiers, they were almost unstoppable. The controls were amazingly good, too. Stand, kneel, or prone positions and the ability to make different sorts of shots based on time units, run or walk. The list goes on. Such solid game mechanics. This game is still playable today. Sure, the graphics are quaint, but the gameplay stands up just as strong today as it did in 1994. I played XCOM for the first time and got stuck in an unwinnable situation which thought was amazing because I'd never really had that happen before. AoE 2. Such a simple RTS, but I've probably played about 250 hours. And my childhood game. The best game 10/10. I bought Fire Emblem for GBA with my hard-earned birthday money when I was like 11. I liked the art and Nintendo Power said it was good. Nobody I knew had ever heard of it. I fell in love, beat it, lent it to my friend. He beat it. We convinced more people to buy it and all of a sudden I can't stop playing turn-based RPGs. Got KOTOR on sale at GameStop. Sucked in forever. Couple years later I found KOTOR 2 on sale at GameStop. Sucked in forever again. KOTOR is the first RPG I ever completed. It is an absolute masterpiece of a game, with 2 of the best characters I have ever come across in a game. Europa Universalis 4. A couple of years ago I went on YouTube to find a let's play of Crusader Kings 2 because I'd been seeing it referenced on a forum a lot and was curious about it. I found one by UQuill18 and watched the whole thing, and then wanted to watch more, but it turned out that he does more EU4 than CK2, so I started watching those. Fairly quickly after that I bought EU4, and over the next year learned how to play by trial and error, reading the wiki, and watching Quill18's LPs. The game has had a huge impact on me in a number of ways. First, I'd never really watched any LPs before except for a couple of times where I checked out 30 minutes or so to see if I liked a game. I've now watched a truly absurd amount of EU4 games from a bunch of people, where most playlists on YouTube average something like 40-60 parts that are about 30 minutes. Second, before EU4 the type of game that I played a lot were Fallout and Elder Scrolls, where I had around 200 to 300 hours logged on Steam for each game. I'm now at about 800 hours on EU4, and have only become more interested in it as time goes on. Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. It's so chill and soothing. It got me through childhood crap and jump-started my interest in business and economics. Also Miffy's got it going on. Celia's where it's at, buddy. Shadow of the Colossus. Story was so minimal but so powerful. I loved the scale of Colossi and just the mood that sepia tinted world put me in. Never played anything like it. Journey. A friend recommended it so I downloaded it. I knew nothing about it, and after a little while a second character popped up and did some random stuff. The RE in this game is weird as heck, I thought. Then, admittedly way too late, we were already far in the freezing snow level. Something in my brain clicked and I realized this was another human I was playing with. Someone I didn't know and would never get to know. It could have been anyone. This made me feel so connected to the world and every person living in it, and it made the ending of the game even more emotional for me. I haven't played Journey since, even though I really loved it, because I know it can never have that extreme impact on me again. You can actually connect with all the people you played with. After the credits the game will list the usernames of those you've played with. Factorio. The indie devs have never done any form of advertisement, have never run a sale, and don't plan to, and the game now has over 1 million purchases and is one of the highest positively rated games available on Steam. It's still early access and they are constantly improving it. I just stumbled upon it one day and thought it looked cool. Sat on the fence with a $20 price for some time. One day I was bored and said frick it, went for it. Now, all hours of the day I am dreaming of the improvements I can make to my factory. I legitimately have to ban myself from playing, because I would never get anything done if I played as much as I'd like. It's one of the most addictive games I've ever played, and well worth the $20 I spent on it. Do yourself a favor and buy Factorio. Factorio, a shining example of what early access should be. Highly recommend it. The original Fable. The Lost Chapters expansion was amazing. BioShock. Game was about 6 months old when I got it. Beat it within 48 hours. I was pretty much used to RPGs having the interesting worlds, stories and concepts. Then along came what I would say was the most interesting setting I had ever seen. The Wolf Among Us. I don't like those story-like games, but for some reason, that game just stuck with me. Absolutely fantastic game. Would replay again and again. Gren won't remember that is one of the greatest jokes I've seen in a Telltale game. Morrowind. I had never played an Elder Scrolls game prior to that one and I ended up putting so many hours into that game. The Sims. Because if I can't handle my own life, just handle someone else's. Ruin someone else's. Okami. Absolutely beautiful game. Ori and the Blind Forest. I thought I would not love a 2D game, but I didn't play this kind of game in years, so I gave it a shot during Steam sales. Turns out I love it. Beautiful soundtrack, graphics, and story. I was not used to that kind of gameplay either, but it was refreshing and very cool. Surprised there is not more love for this game. It is a challenging platformer with insanely gorgeous graphics and an amazing story about friendship and keeping an open mind. I've played it through 3 times and still revisit occasionally because it is such an exquisite experience. The Mass Effect series, especially Mass Effect 1. It had everything I loved at the time, but I didn't really even know about the game till years later after all 3 games were released. One day, Mass Effect 1 was given away for free on Xbox Live on my 360. Picked it up out of curiosity and fell in absolute love with it. Awesome third-person shooter with an interesting RPG team-based style with an amazing story that had player choice be an important factor, and I freaking love anything sci-fi. This series turned out to be my all-time favorite game series. Sleeping Dogs made me like video games again, actually immersed in the game, and didn't cheat code once. No other game has captured the glory that is Hong Kong action cinema quite like Sleeping Dogs. That game needs a sequel. It's easily my favorite open world game. Katamari. Last week I introduced my 8 years old son to Katamari Damacy. I never realized how much I missed that music. Chrono Trigger. A truly perfect game. What a game. What a crew who made it. What a lasting impact on the world. Nice call. I think that was the first of the SNES RPGs that got me hooked, even though I didn't play any of them until much later. Oblivion. Only bought it because I finished all the games that were out at the time for the 360 and really didn't think I'd like it. Had no idea what type of game it would be. As you can imagine, it left a mark on me. Arkham Asylum. I thought for sure it'd be another cash grab licensed game relying on the Batman name to sell rather than actual quality. It wound up becoming my favorite series in the PS3 general. Postal 2. On the face, it's just a sandbox for sociopaths. The numerous weapons, the gore, the drugs, the freedom to do unfathomably horrific things to innocent people. But look again, and you see that while there is the freedom to be a monster, there's no incentive. You can live the crappy and depressing life of the protagonist without harming a soul. There's no reason to go on a murder spree, except out of boredom or frustration or curiosity. If you act like a monster, it's only because you choose to. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Very enjoyable. Friend gave it to me. Now I can make memes about it. Metro 2033. So many reasons. Mainly being the creepy old Russian nuclear winter backdrop, and the stalkers, they were cool AF. Stardew Valley. Why? Didn't expect to put 1,000 hours into a simple $15 farm simulator. It's the calming music, the colorful seasons that make you feel happy, the interactions with the townies, gifting someone their favorite things, getting to know and then marrying one of the many single NPCs, and knowing this game was built by a single person over 4 years and he continues to interact with the fans and create new content for the game. I fricked up when playing that game. I loved it so much. Played through 2 years in about a week and was having such a good time. Then the Halloween event came and I used the golden pumpkin glitch to get infinite money and it killed the experience for me. I'm waiting on the Nintendo Switch version to come out to replay it though. The original EverQuest. The heartbreak of dying late at night in a raid and 40 plus people trying to find a way to get their gear back by coaxing others on the server to come and help. Even the downtime between pulls and dungeons was conducive to community building. I could never go back, now that I'm spoiled by the quality of life aspects of newer MMOGs. But for me, EverQuest at the time offered so much that I'll always remember it fondly. I know the zones of EQ better than those of WoW. They were beautifully crafted for the time, and that in itself will stay with me forever. Dark Souls. Perfectly directed. Also has a great mix of hardcore gaming and softcore gaming elements. Dark Souls for sure. I remember I bought it on a sale, played maybe to Blighttown and decided I didn't like it, so I shelved it for quite a while. Eventually came back to it with a new mindset and found it to be one of the most enjoyable experiences I've ever had in a game. Great series. Dynasty Warriors 3. I remember I was 12 and a neighbor invited me over to play his PS2 with him. Back when local co-op was a thing. He put in DW3 and we spent hours going through the campaign, learning the characters and their stories. It was a lot of fun. Even today I still find myself thinking about Lubuatuleo Gate. The Stanley Parable. The storyline is just amazing and depressing at the same time. The narrator did a great job adding emotion and thrill to the game. I think he has gone on to bigger, better things. I really hope there will be a follow-up. It's a great game to go to if you are down, because this man's life is way more down than yours. Portal. As part of the orange box, it wasn't even released on its own disc. I literally had no forewarning, saw no promos, nothing. Yet it came in with strong humor, new ideas on old mechanics, and great physics, and totally blew me away. At first I thought it'd be a silly bonus puzzle game thrown in there. Boy was I wrong. When you get to the breakthrough point, it's unbelievable how incredible that game is. Firewatch. I downloaded it because it was cheap on PS4 and played through in a sitting. The scenery is amazing. The dialogue with your unseen counterpart, and the menacing hints you come across are haunting. I still think about this game almost daily, and think I should probably replay it soon. I need to break my Eve addiction first, though. Dishonored. The gameplay, story and variety of ways to finish missions was outstanding. Minecraft. I used to despise it, but now it takes up a large majority of my time. You have been visited by the dinner doggo. Good and also tasty stir fries will come to you if you comment thanks for the recipe, dinner doggo. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.